If the November 3rd election would have been rigged and stolen the way it was against the Democrats, I would be appalled as an American. This isn't about Democrat, Republican. It's about the way that election was run. And you're saying there's no evidence, Piers, but there really is a mountain of evidence, and more of it's coming out. We're looking at what happened in Michigan as more information comes out about completely phony voter registration. We watched as they pulled ballots from underneath tables after they kicked the poll observers
Kari,
out and started
there are
counting
lots of
ballots.
these stories swirling around, but every single time it's gone before people whose job it is to say whether this has actually happened. There's no evidence. I keep saying this to Donald Trump. I don't know why he keeps flogging the dead horse of a stolen election.
Well, I'll tell you
what he wants to be doing is trying to persuade people that he should be elected again. Give us something for the country to feel positive about.
And he is doing that.
It's amazing. Failed gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake is still going strong with this election fraud tour. And actually this time, the mostly problematic Piers Morgan wasn't going to let the childlike points go without a little bit of pushback.
And I know it's probably not being played in the UK, but it is coming out. Every day more and more evidence is coming out about how bad 2020 was. The polls are showing that the majority of Americans now believe that the 2020 election was wrought with fraud.
No,
and
they
so
don't.
the polls are changing.
Nonsense.
People don't. That's true.
Oh, Kari, that's as we would say across the pond, that is an absolute whopper.
81% of Republicans.
There are no Republicans. You said Americans. You didn't say Republicans. The majority of Americans in every poll I've seen do not believe that the election was stolen. You know why? Because it wasn't stolen.
I'm looking at polls. I'm looking at polls, and I follow election integrity because it is near and dear to my heart. And all I want is for every American.
Kari. I think what you want to do, like Donald Trump, you want to fuel a sense that every time you guys lose a fair election, it's unfair and rigged and stolen. And every time you win, it's the purest example of efficient working democracy imaginable.
Well, now that it seems like Lake has finally realized that her election fraud grift isn't really sticking everywhere, she has to call this audible and say that she's not fighting for Trump and Republicans, whose policies are nowhere to be found for the American people to give a damn about, but actually she's fighting humbly for the country, despite any political affiliation. And you got one guess about who put her there. It was God.
I ask that each and every one of you, no matter if you have a D or an R or an I or whatever behind your name, will remember the oath you took to protect and uphold the United States Constitution, because it is hanging by a thread right now. And we don't have much time on the clock. It's not about me. It never has been. I ran when the people of Arizona asked me to run. And what I've seen in our elections is appalling. It's not comfortable to be in the middle of a fight to secure and reform elections, but here I am, and God's placed me here, and I'm willing to take up this battle. But I ask that you join me and you join the people of Arizona who have no faith in their elections, because our elections are merely theater to make us think we're choosing our elected officials, when in fact we're not.
And once you're fighting for God, another way to keep the political grift going is for her to realize that she doesn't really have a job. So it's time to look for another political office to run for / complain about losing later. Because whether MAGA Republicans show it or not, they're going to have to come up with some kind of plan for themselves in the post-Trump era. But ask yourself this. What policies does Kari Lake have besides evidence-free accusations of election fraud? Because it's all she talks about. But still, this is the plan.
I assume you don't want to make any news about the Arizona Senate race on our show, but I might as well ask.
Well, I've been very honest about it. I have been seriously considering it for a while now, and I'll probably be making up my mind here in the next month or so. I've seen the polling. I know that the people of Arizona respect me, and they know that I will work hard for them, and so I'm seriously giving it thought to jump into that. We've got to get a senator. You know, we have all these senators. Many of them have R's behind their name, but they've done everything they can to thwart the America First movement. So I'll be making an announcement here probably in the next month or so.